welcome to the Rooted Connections podcast. My name is Uju, and I'm here with my girl.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Rooted Connection podcast, and this is Pam.
Hi, Pam.
Hi Uju, have you been?
I'm good. It's I'm very excited to be discussing today's topic. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yay! I am too.
You are?
I am.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
always excited.
You are actually. You like gist too much anyway.
I do.
So when it's time for gist, you're always ready.
Do you know I thought that thing would change with age, but it doesn't.
And you've passed it to your children, Abby.
Not really. I don't think so.
They don't like gist.
Not as much as I do. I just know I'm in the wrong profession.
You wanted to do, was it mass comm? What did you say you wanted to read?
I've done media.
Media, Abby.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Do they study mass comm in this UK? That's a Nigerian thing, isn't
I
it?
think it is. I think it's probably their version of media
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
But what else we digress? I said digress. I know.
When you hear mass comm, what's all those courses that you do when you know pass jam? That's what, yeah, I don't think I know anyone that actually chose to do mass comm.
I don't know anyone.
I stand correct. I'm sure there will be people.
I'm
I'm sure there will be, but I personally don't know anyone that chose mass comm. But I know people that did it.
Yeah. I think just for context, mass comm is mass communication.
Oh yeah, sorry, I should have said that.
Yes.
Mass
For
communication. But again, that's probably an old name. They might not be calling it that anymore.
Possibly, I don't know.
You'll have, started calling it media studies.
Media studies, media production, media whatever.
Yeah.
But I think, that's if I'd gone into that, I think I would have done really well. I love gist, but I don't like to give gist. It's quite weird.
Okay, you want to know what's going on, but you don't like to tell people about yourself.
Well, I don't like to tell people's gist, but I like to receive gist.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I got you. There's a slight difference, Sha.
So I'm not an army boy in that sense. But
You can keep your secrets, what you're saying.
But I like to hear it.
You like to hold the secrets. It's
I like
not heavy.
Just hear, no,
Be holding people's secrets.
No,
It's not heavy.
It goes over my head actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find it heavy.
No.
So there are some secrets that I'm like.
Well, yeah, of
I
course.
Don't
There are
want
some
to know.
things.
Please.
Of course. Actually, I think with age, there are some things now that I can do without knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There are some things that are too big. I don't. I don't want.
You rather no.
No. I'm talking about gist, just general gist. Gist.
Just like
funny.
to know what's going on.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm with you. I suppose as you get older as well, the gravity of the gists is heavier.
More intense, isn't it?
That's why it's like I could do without knowing.
I don't
this.
need to know. No,
But
definitely some things I'm sure that I'll be okay if I didn't know about.
Yeah. But when we were younger, can't pass this person is going out with this person.
Very
exactly.
petty so that would be funny,
And in our mind, that was the biggest thing that can ever happen. Gosh. Right. So today, we're introducing the game.
Yeah, something different.
So I can't remember what it's called. Oh, there it's called Fill in the Black. So Pam brought this game because she played it somewhere and she thought it was really fun. So sure you didn't see what's on the card.
I was just about to say that you need to change the card now because
oh God, and I had planned my answer. Oh God,
I've seen it.
All right, so we are not playing for me this game because I've left the other cards and I had the perfect thing.
I've seen it. I was going to lie, but no, my conscience would not let me.
All right.
So okay, let's just test it. Let's just test it and see. So there are keywords here that I can't say, and if I said those words, then pretty much out. But okay,
it's a bit like charades, isn't it? Or what's it called?
It is. Yeah.
Or no, charades. Is it charades or the other one?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like it's guessing, Sha.
So I have to try and guess the word, but you can't tell me.
So there's a word or a person or a thing that I have to describe without using these keywords. Okay, let's give it a go.
But can you tell me what it is? Like, is it a person?
Yes, a person.
It's a person, all right?
A female.
Okay.
It's not here. She was the first billionaire black female.
I don't know. Black female as in African.
I can't. No, she's not African.
Rihanna.
Yeah. See, it wasn't too bad.
Okay, I tried. I tried. I was already panicking. Ah, my God. Okay.
It wasn't too bad.
Okay, okay,
Well
okay,
done,
okay.
well done.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. You just said billionaire in dollars, oh, because I'm sure billionaire in naira. There will be other way.
When I say billionaire, this baby, you know what I mean. Give yourself.
Eh? Naira is a currency.
It is, it is.
It's a
Right
strong
now,
currency.
right now. Okay.
Oh goodness. Right. Okay. So for today, we're going to be talking about the UK.
Mm-hmm.
You know why we chose to live in the UK. What brought us here in the first place, why we chose to live here, and some of the things that shocked us, the culture shocks that shocked us when we first came and are still shocking us.
Yeah, I think there are still some things we can say. Still, it's like, okay.
And I think as we're growing older, it shocks some things. You're getting into a new phase, so you're experiencing another level of shock, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. So how long have we been here? We came 2002. Wow. When I say it out loud, it makes me feel old.
I know. It's a lifetime ago.
It makes me feel really old when I say it
So
out.
to put it into context, a child that was born the year we came is 22 now.
Yes, so
An adult.
they finished uni.
Yes.
They have finished university.
Yeah.
Wow. Let that sink in.
Please, nobody should ask me my age. It's not your business.
You can work
I'm not
it
giving
out.
that gist.
You can work it out. We came for uni. We came for university, so you can work out our age brackets. But I'm still young. Some people are
In your
old,
mind.
but
In your
I'm
mind.
still a youngin.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
I'm not yet 40, so I'm still young. Exactly.
So I just said I didn't want to give gists about, but technically you have.
I didn't say how old you are.
You have
I
told.
said me.
Okay, I'm not.
I said me. I did not say you.
You're just an amiable.
Wow. Wow.
I'm telling. I don't want to tell people my age. You're telling
Did I
them.
tell anybody your age? You are the one that drew attention to it.
You are the one that just said. You just said. You threw me under the bus.
You are the one, no.
Technically.
You are the one. So we came to the United Kingdom for university, and why did you stay? Why did you go back?
I think let me start from why I came. Obviously, you said uni. So I got here and I think I was happy with the freedom that it came with. So that independence that I didn't necessarily have back home, I had to. So yeah, I mean, I was already doing adult things in terms of okay, looking after my siblings and taking on some of those roles. But in terms of being sheltered, I would say to a degree I was quite sheltered. I think sheltered because of where we lived as well. The part of Nigeria that I grew up was quite not so much in the central part of Lagos. So in terms of going out into town was a bit difficult. So most of my friends grew up in sort of like the Lekki, the Apapa, those areas that are quite accessible to where it's happening, put it that way. But I didn't.
You grew up in Cotonou now.
Yeah, so growing up where I grew up in Agbara, for those who might know where that is, it was very isolated and I didn't always have the opportunity to go out like that. I wouldn't say, I think to a certain degree, I think it got to a point where, particularly my dad, he was all for us having those experiences and going out. My dad would always, but obviously there was always that risk of coming back too late. And then when you now work it out, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
So when I got here as a student, I think I was like, what do I do? What do I do with all this freedom to, yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, I grew up very quickly. I had to. And so when I finished my first degree, I wanted to do law. So I went on to law school, but I hated it, so I didn't finish. and then I went on to do a master's in international relations. Um, and yeah, and I think that I got to a point where I had gotten used to the life that I saw for myself more here
Yeah.
than going than
The
returning.
Nigeria.
Yeah,
You know, I forgot you did that international relations.
did.
Wow. That I completely forgot that phase.
I did.
You go
Yeah,
to school, oh.
I know.
Ah,
I can't even count all my degrees.
you have to
Well,
pack some school fees money and return to your daddy.
I love him very much. He's very
Because that's what have you used the international relations masters to do?
a lot.
A lot.
I can talk about politics.
I give up. I give up. For me, why did I stay? I think I went back after uni for that summer, after undergrad. I went back for a summer, and it just didn't feel, because almost everyone that I knew, my circle at the time, they were all still here. So it was just, and this was pre by the time we left Nigeria, a lot of people didn't have mobile phones and all that stuff
Yeah.
when we were leaving. Do you get?
Well,
So
it
it
was
was
just
just
starting
coming.
to,
Do you understand?
yeah.
So a lot of people didn't have mobile phones, so you weren't really in contact with a lot of the people in Nigeria, if that makes sense. So a lot of people that I used to talk to regularly were all here. So it was kind of like, of course, if I stayed, I would have gotten back in contact with everybody and stuff like that. And there was still Facebook and
Yeah.
all those to be able to mix. But it just felt like my social life was still in the UK. And so I came back to do my master's, and I just never left. I got married, and that was it.
I was about to say that. I think part of it was the men that we met at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in that 3 months or 4 months that was in Nigeria as well, is kind of to your point about freedom, is I'm used to doing everything on my own time. And then I was in my parents' house when they're telling me I have to be back home by 7. I'm thinking, what? 7 is when we start the.
That's when
That's when we go out.
where you are.
Do you understand? So, and I went to go stay in my sister's house because, like, I can't deal. And I went there. And I remember I told her once I wanted to go to a party, and she's like, okay, I don't know. Let me ask my husband. And then it's like, yeah, that's fine. Just be home by midnight. And she's like, midnight? He's like, do you realize this girl has been in uni by herself? That was like, she's even asking you, is why you're. So she was like, okay. But yeah, my sister was that one. She's a good girl from beginning.
Yeah.
Even when she was in uni, every weekend she was at home.
Are you serious?
Yeah. She did not do party like us.
Please, I was a good girl. I don't know what you're talking about.
You guys go to club Monday to Friday.
Me.
Monday to so Sunday was your only rest day.
No.
Sabbath
I
day.
don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. All right.
I was always in the library.
Library.
Yes, no.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I was always, please, don't come and give people the wrong impression
It's
here.
true. You know, you have plenty degrees actually. She's very studious.
Very studious now.
Very studious. She
I
went
used
to
to study all the
it's true,
time.
It's true.
Yes.
Mommy and daddy, she was very
Just do
studious.
small downtime, but more in the library.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
If my nose is growing right now.
I can see it. So, okay, in terms of culture shocks then, so for you, when you first came, what was some of the things that hit you that you thought, what?
There's so many. But I think one of the one that jumps out is how free, because obviously we came straight to uni, and the relationship that you have with your lecturer. So how you're able to call your lecturer John or Cynthia or Sylvia, and I it took me a while to get my head around it. I didn't understand, because obviously, I think in primary schools here, and I think secondary schools, they still do the whole Miss or Mr.
Yeah.
But obviously, once you get into college or university, that changes very quickly. So I went to uni for a really short time in Nigeria, which long story short, and I knew, and thank God my parents could afford to send me abroad, because I don't know what would have come out of that. That's a whole nother story. But very quickly, for context, I was harassed by a lecturer in Nigeria. And
Imagine.
this was me new. I was not even a jambite. And I say jambite for, again, what they call freshers here.
Yeah.
I wasn't. There was obviously, because I didn't pass jump.
Oh, you were doing diploma,
I
be?
didn't pass jump. So I had to do not diploma, pre-degree
Oh, pre-degree.
in law.
Ah, I see.
And I had this lecturer that actually told me to my face that eventually, when you need me, because he asked me a question, I didn't respond. So I went home and I cried to my dad. And that was the last time I didn't go back. I didn't go back. But, I'm just thinking, if he didn't have the means, then, it'd have been a different story altogether.
You would have had to hustle it one way or the other.
Well,
That's
exactly.
that's the
People
unfortunate
navigate it
thing.
now, so I guess I would have had to find a way. But that was obviously the journey to come in here. So yeah, um, when I obviously got here, I I just loved that idea of being able to, like you said, do things on your own terms and not having to worry about what mommy or daddy are going to say or think. You know?
Right. So the thing that shocked you the most was just how was
The dynamic.
and just everyone is a level playing field for everybody.
Exactly. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. So yeah, so knowing that the difference between how it is in Nigeria and how you relate with your lecturers, and obviously that sort of power dynamic, and how it didn't necessarily exist here, was, I found it really interesting.
Yeah, well, I suppose it depends on the university as well because there's some that where everybody's a professor and this and that. The lecturers are still a little bit
Yeah, but you don't call them professor. I
stuck up.
don't. I don't. I don't know, Sha. I don't know how it is in, obviously, sort of the top league
Yeah,
universities,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I think even at that, you're still on first name basis.
Basis. Fair enough. For me, it was even more in the workplace. When I started working, where you're the big boss. Everybody, no matter how highly placed you are, is first name.
Yeah.
If some is even nickname. That's you're calling this
Yeah.
man with gray hair by his nickname, and you're like, this just doesn't feel right. I remember the first time my boss like, oh, did you want a cup of tea? I'm like, no.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I'm like,
How they
no.
offer to make coffee for everyone.
I'm like, no, don't worry. Then 5 minutes later, I'm gonna make my own myself. And of course, I had to realize very quickly that in itself was it's almost like telling them that they can't make it the way you want. So they deem that to be rude. So they've offered to do something for you, say no and go and do it yourself. In this culture, was actually rude.
Yeah.
So I had to learn very quickly. My first job, there was this guy. He was in his 50s. Every day before I get to work, because he's come really early, my tea will be waiting for me on my desk.
Oh.
And I'm like, and the tea was not the nicest of cup of tea, but I have to drink it because I didn't want to be rude.
Exactly.
But it was just a slightly different. So understanding the nuances here and the things that they deem to be rude, versus in Nigeria, if I drink that tea, it will not go down well. It cannot go down well. It's like you even had your dust for me to then you're actually drinking it.
But I should have asked you how you like your tea, though.
He tried his best.
Two
Let's just put
sugars
it
and
that
milk.
way. He tried his best, but I drank it anyway with love.
That's good.
Exactly. I had to drink it with love.
And that's how you build relationships.
Indeed.
You know.
Indeed.
And some of those relationships actually are still serving
Of
even
course.
till now. Because you have to find a way to adjust to those things.
100%. Another one that, for me, when I first came, that really shocked me was how much, at the time anyway, people used to smoke. Because, to an extent, I was quite sheltered growing up. No one in my family, like direct, immediate family smoked. So it's not something that I was around a lot.
Yeah.
And particularly women who smoke. When we were growing up, a woman that smokes is a particular type of
She's a
lady.
bad girl.
She's a very bad girl, oh. Woman of the night. Those are the people that smoke. Even men that smoke, is how they, there's a description. He drinks, he smokes, it's
Oh
a,
yeah.
there
Yeah,
is
yeah.
a, so you then come here and it's nothing.
It's not a big deal.
Is
They even have
nothing.
fag breaks. They call it fag breaks. So you go, you have your boss, everybody will be, all standing together and having a bit of a
In fact, for some people, it was a bonding thing.
yes.
So someone who is a social smoker or a casual smoker, because they want to bond with a particular boss or whatever, when the person is going out to smoke, they say for go.
You go.
Do you understand? I had to get my head round it that it's not this our stereotypical or African thinking or Nigerian thinking. Should I say that is a certain type of person that smoked? I had to drop that quick when we first came here, but
Well, it could be that maybe to a degree, maybe back then in that society, maybe it's bad people that smoke, right? No, I'm kind of just playing devil's advocate here, right? But I think what's interesting is now coming here and debunking some of those beliefs and ideologies that actually no, it's just something that people do just because they want to do it. It doesn't take away. It's the same way we see tattoos. Do you understand? It's the same way we see. So someone who has a tattoo, you already have the worst mindset about them. This person is a bad boy, a bad girl.
it used to be that, to be honest. But now, in fact, even in the corporate world, beforehand, you couldn't have any
You couldn't,
visible
yeah,
tattoos.
but now that's massively shifted.
So that's I suppose, is that a culture shock? Well, yeah, I suppose so. But that's something that is more recent. In fact, nowadays it's almost rarer to see somebody that doesn't have any tattoo than somebody without a full arm sleeve and all that. When you're watching football, I remember football 10 years ago. There was hardly any visible tattoos on anybody,
Yeah,
but now it's like it's a norm.
yeah.
It's a norm. Um, Let me think. So anything else that you can bring up that you found really shocking?
The other one for me was the PDA.
Oh,
Public display of affection. My God. Like everywhere you go, people are openly kissing. I mean, don't get me wrong, actually, I say that, but we had come, we used to come to the UK or Germany a lot during the summer break when I was growing up. And so I used to see some of those things. But I think now, sort of living here and seeing it, it's not so something I couldn't, I really struggled with it because we didn't grow up with our parents being openly affectionate towards each other, or
yeah.
or you growing up where we would see two adults openly kissing in front of their children. In fact, I remember I remember my parents because my parents had gotten married traditionally, but not in the church.
Church. Okay.
So I was in secondary school, like maybe in my I can't remember. Yeah, secondary school. I think was 1995, where they did their church blessing. And I remember when they said, "Kiss the bride." And
Your dad couldn't do
my
it.
no, he did, but it was such a cringy moment. I remember me and my brothers were like, it just didn't seem, it didn't
seem
seem like a
natural.
normal, natural
How did the
thing.
three of you get here?
I don't know.
How did you get there?
Now we know how we got here, but back then we didn't know.
Joker. But for me, I think the aspect of PDA that actually shocked me was not even the married people. It was more our age mates.
Holding hands, even secondary school.
Jonas, it was
Yeah.
more that, people that you're like, but this one is not married. This is my mates.
Yeah.
There's no auntie coming to knock your head to tell you, oh, we sound so British, honestly. Gosh. But so that's for me was the bit that shocked me. I wasn't too bothered with the adults, if that makes sense.
It was more, but I think very quickly we started to fit into that as well.
Uh,
Very quickly, because I think it's that. Should I say peer pressure? Everyone's doing it, so you're doing it too.
is I suppose it's you want to show your own now.
Mm-hmm.
That guy, this is my guy.
Yeah,
This is my
yeah.
babe.
Territory.
You understand? You're marking your territory in public.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, at first you kind of think, and then I suppose even as we grow older as well, is here that you find that living with your boyfriend, moving in with your girlfriend, whatever, that's a norm for them here.
Yeah.
In fact, their cycle was more you when you know your relationship is getting serious is you move it together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you have the first child, then you get married.
In fact, for some people decide that they want to be long-term partners. Like some people just decide my marriage is not for them. But I didn't. Again, coming from the culture that we come from,
You're not living with anybody. Oh.
two people deciding they don't want to get married
Taboo.
and they have children. What's going on here? Something is not right. But actually, again, having lived there for a long time, it's a choice thing.
It's a choice thing, and I suppose for me or for us, I would say the one thing that makes it not an option is the fact that we're Christian.
Yes.
That's the one thing that makes it not an option. But in this society in the UK where a lot of them don't have any belief, don't believe in anything.
No, they don't have those yet. Those are not for them here, there, or anywhere. This is a lifestyle. This is something that two consenting adults decide that actually marriage is not what we want. We love each other a lot and we want to be together
And cohabit.
and cohabit.
And I think even that was another thing that actually shocked me, how much of a lack of religion there is in the United Kingdom. Because when you're hearing in Nigeria, they tell you is the British pilgrims that brought Christianity to Nigeria. I used to go to Anglican church. So Anglican church, the head of Anglican church is Church of England. So you think, and the way we carry Christianity or religion in general, be it Islam or whatever, in Nigeria is quite heavy. We carry it so strong.
Yeah.
So I thought that coming to the UK, I was in Canterbury. That's where the Archbishop of Canterbury is. So coming to the UK, my perception is that they'll be very religious in this place. And you come here and you're like, actually,
They're not.
it's not. When you see, I think the most exhibition of religion you see is when the royal family do stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And I suppose as well, the Britain is supposed to be, and I say supposed to be, but like you said, it's not many people's reality. It's supposed to be a Christian country. But I think that there's obviously a lot of shifts around that in terms of accommodating how multicultural it is now in the UK.
Oh, it is 100%. It's not even so much the culture. People talking of a lot of the white British don't believe in anything.
No. And yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
They just it's I find it very interesting how so that really shocks me, and I find it very interesting how different or how far they've fallen from, because a lot of churches are now so like disused. They've been
yeah, so
sold
that's-
off
yeah.
to and they're
Well, the older generation, I would say, are quite religious. Older generation. You find more of them, I think, than sort of like within our own sort of
age
brackets.
Obviously it's not
And more, there's a shift away from religion. More and more.
Yeah, it's a bit, yeah, I found that quite shocking to have to deal with. In fact, this is a topic we can go on and on actually. So before to round off, I suppose as a parent parenting in this country, what are the things that have shocked you?
I think one of the biggest shocks for me, and before I became a parent, is just some of the dynamics in sort of, should I use the word gentle parenting? So, oh, stop it. Oh, don't do that. I really could not relate with that. Yeah.
God.
And I couldn't understand it because that was not my reality growing up. I didn't understand how a child is clearly, one of the things I'll go into a supermarket and I'll see a child
Rolling
literally
on the
rolling on
floor.
the floor, and the parent is, oh, stop
God.
it. Why are you doing that?
Ah. Oh, please.
Oh, no, stop.
Oh, get up. Oh, stop.
No.
I get it. Children will always throw tantrums at some point, but there's a degree of I can just see the slap that my mother will have
It's not
given.
even a thought. It won't cross your mind.
That's true, Sha. You can't even consider it.
And it's not something we grew up seeing. So, of course, that would be a shock for us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you understand?
Definitely, definitely.
The average child in our society will not do that.
No, you can't. You can't now.
No, exactly.
No, in fact, if you are rolling on the floor and disrespecting your parents, it's not even your parent that will deal with you. That's the way we were. It's a random stranger.
Because there was a lot of
will deal
corporate
with you.
parenting.
Yes,
Yeah.
a random stranger will set you straight, and then you
And
get home.
that adds to it because you've embarrassed your parents because somebody had to step in. So that's like double
down.
punishment. So you get home and like, so you've allowed somebody to insult me.
Then they report you to your teacher that she's now being stubborn. So your teacher will not deal with you again.
Exactly.
No. So yes, for me, that's one of the biggest things that shocked. One of the shocks actually for me when my daughter started school. The education system here shocked me. In that maybe it's just me that hadn't paid too much attention to it, but there's when they don't give you homework. If you do it, it's okay. If you don't do it, it's okay. At the end of every year, whether you pass, whether you fail, you move on to the next one. So if as a parent you're not on top of things,
Your child can easily slip and you won't.
very, very easily, because they're hardly ever straight with you. Maybe in the private education system is slightly different, but in mainstream education, they are not pushing.
No.
They are not overly pushing. Yeah, as long as you're coming to school and your child is seemingly trying.
Yeah.
You may get the feedback if they feel like your child is disruptive or your child is not making efforts or they are not pulling their weight. You may get that feedback. But if your child is, doing what they are supposed to do, but they're not getting where they're supposed to be academically, you might not really know.
Yeah. And I think with the issue of the way that putting into context or contrast so that people can relate to what we're saying. I think obviously we grew up in a system where if you are exceptional in school, you had the option to even be moved to skip a class.
Yeah, now double promotion.
And then on the flip side of that is if you are really bad,
you repeat
that class.
Yeah.
But here, you move up regardless.
But that was traumatic though.
I know.
In hindsight, having to do it at age 5, 6, you're starting that behavior from then.
You're really
That was that in hindsight, I think when you think about it, especially because we only had one style of teaching.
The impact on a child's development, I think, was very detrimental.
I think so. Because if that child perhaps maybe had an undiagnosed thing like dyslexia or I don't know, ADHD or whatever, they're not being taught in a way that they can learn. Then on top of that, you're then telling the child that you have to keep repeating the class.
Yeah.
And you had certain number of times you had to repeat the class. I know how many people that they have moved schools because the child has done the class twice.
And yeah.
And in the bid not to embarrass the child again, they now move to a different school. So that, not to say that our way was necessarily the best, because we've just said it was a bit harsh and a bit traumatic. But at the same time, coming here, I expected, because it's not a British education system that we were doing.
Yeah.
But that really shocked me. Someone had mentioned it to me before, actually, that, you have to really stay on top of this thing. And I thought, at least the teacher will give me feedback.
And I think that's why some of them struggle when they start secondary school, because secondary school is almost like you're going from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
So when you get to secondary school, the expectation is very different, because obviously, clearly, they're now preparing you for bigger
To do
things
A
to come.
levels or GCSE.
GCSE at the very minimum. So for many children, they really do struggle at first to adjust.
I think secondary school, you're now even more in control and managing your education yourself, and there's consequence for not doing the stuff.
Yeah.
As opposed to in primary school, if you don't bring the homework, nobody's stressing you, so you can pretty much scale through. And I also find it quite hard to me that the first time a lot of children are having to write any exam that is of consequence to them is GCSE.
Yeah.
I I'm not we did the exam right from the beginning. So by the time you're getting to
You're
GCSE
yeah. So
level,
you're quite used to
you're
that
used to the
environment.
pressure. And then but this is the first time they are writing an exam that has any consequence is GCSE, and a lot of them really really struggle with it.
Yeah. And there are even still debates as to whether they should scrap it or not.
Scrap
Because of the
exams.
yeah, because of the impact it has on children.
Yeah, because it has that impact because they've not had any practice. So I'm not saying people should repeat or anything or go the other extreme, but I think there's a balance to be had, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then when you get into adulthood, it's another shock because you've been spoon fed everything your whole life.
Yeah. So getting into that space where you're now having to sort of make certain life decisions, you're not quite ready for it.
Precisely. I remember once my daughter was crying, saying, "Oh, had she wasn't happy, or is it her dad had made her unhappy?" And then he goes, "Yeah, that's okay." And you could see the thing in her face, like, "What?" And it's like, "Yeah, you will be unhappy sometimes. That's life. But the something has happened. There is a consequence. You have to accept it. And one of the skills you have to learn is you are unhappy now. You have to learn to deal with that emotion and get happy again."
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Huh?"
What are you talking about?
She looked so shocked because outside of the when you say I'm sad, everyone is running around you. "Oh, why are you sad? Let's make you happy again." And it's like, no, you have to learn to self-regulate
Yeah.
and get yourself happy. And that's the we had the toughness of nobody's even looking at you. What is I'm sad? I can't tell my dad I'm sad. What's that? So ours was a little bit harsh, but finding that balance is really tough with our kids.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. I think we'll obviously go into that in future episodes.
Indeed.
Because even with this whole cultural shocks, I think that even now for people who are migrating to the UK, they're experiencing those challenges. But I think we'll delve into that.
Oh, that's
further.
that's for sure because especially um around children and just adjusting to life one on one because the dynamics of even what you have to do for yourself. I remember talking to my sister when she first relocated, and she's like, "Gosh, how do you people do it? Like in Nigeria, I have a person for my car, my tire has spoiled. I sit down, I will call the vulcanizer, he will come and sort it out. Here, everything you have to sort it out yourself. It's not like, Nigeria there is or where you're coming from or Africa in general,
Yeah, because labor is cheap.
yeah, so there is a
Labor is
different
cheap.
setup, and then coming here, it's a massive shock. So that will be another episode where we talk about the shocks associated with relocation, and very importantly, I think we'll delve into the shocks in parenting
Yeah.
because I think you in your secular world you see a lot of that.
Yeah. We'll discuss that. We'll
So
discuss
watch
that.
out for that one. It will be coming soon.
Definitely. So to close, just like we always do, I'm going to read a quote, and it states, "If you think you're too small to have an impact, try going to bed with a mosquito in the room."
I love it.
I think that's self-explanatory.
I love it.
A tiny little mosquito can give you malaria that will land you in hospital.
Before you even get to the malaria, that
The
noise.
pain.
You know that noise,
That
that
buzz.
buzzing noise. It will drive you insane because you're trying to find that mosquito.
So, in short, you're not too little. Everybody has something to give to the world. So just be you and do your best every day. And thank you so much for engaging. Thank you for listening, subscribing. Please keep supporting us. We really, really want to hear from you guys. And hopefully see you on the next one.